Hello everyone and welcome back to Spanish Sling, a podcast where we try to bridge the gap between the Spanish and Singaporean companies and encourage economic relations between them. During the past interviews we have talked about technology, but how about social media, which is really related to it? What is the social media sector here in Singapore and the new developments related to it? This is why today we welcome Ana García to the Spanish Sling. So Ana has a PhD in computer science that she did here in Singapore, that's right. And she's a computer vision scientist at ByteDance, where she works specifically for TikTok, which I think everyone knows about.
Yeah, I think everyone knows about it.
So Ana, I wanted to discuss the social media sector here in Singapore. So you have a really human social vision about social media, which I want you to share with the rest of us. So what do you think, in your opinion, which is the main goal of social media, and how can we as humans best achieve it?
Well, I think it all started as a way to connect people, right? So you want to keep your relationships strong even through the distance, and social media helps a lot with that. Then eventually started evolving, right? If we can just communicate, we can also, share views or share ideas, share content, create entertainment, sell products, right? So it has evolved a lot in that sense. To me, it's still at its core. I think the beauty of social media is connecting. Like for me or for you probably being here in Singapore, social media is our way to still know what our friends are doing back in Spain, right?
Yeah,
so for
definitely.
me, I just go into say Instagram to check the stories from my friends, what did they do today, and then that brings up conversations, because otherwise I wouldn't know what's happening on their day to day, right?
Yes.
Even if we may only share some things of our lives, still it must be like, oh, you went here, like how fun that is. But it's true that many other people are starting using the social media for more connecting in more a global sense, right? So it's not just a personal connection, it may be a professional connection. In the computer science field, Twitter is like the field to go. There's so much discussion going on in there, which otherwise only happens in conferences, right? And now you have it on your phone all day. If we talk about content creators, entertainment, so we have shifted a little bit from the traditional entertainment to anybody with talent can go into a platform and create content that everyone enjoys. So I think that's very interesting to see how we shift patterns.
Yes, so that's so interesting, and I think that the main idea is to connect, of course, and there has so many positive things that you commented before. Thanks to that, I can know about what my friends and my family is doing in Spain, but it also have some dangers associated to it.
Yeah.
So how do you, on the platforms you're working in, how can you control the dangers associated with the social media?
Yeah, so because social media is a platform for everyone to communicate and share their ideas or something. Some of them may be a little bit controversial, and it might bring like some issues. So it's very important to make sure that the platforms are safe spaces, right? So you cannot have maybe like sexual content or like violence or like hate being spread on your platform, because people will not want to be in there. Like it's not just something that's damaging to society, but also if you think from a business point of view,
nobody wants to be associated with
exactly that. And no one will want to be in a space that is harmful. And if we think also of protecting the youth, right, about doing things that they may regret in the future or things like that, it's also quite important to try to monitor at the maximum, right, and try to moderate the content as much as we can, because otherwise it's not just like at a like individual level where you may be sharing or where you may be consuming without you wanting to consume it, but it's also how those ideas, or not ideas, but I would say more like violence and threats and stuff like that that shouldn't be in social media, and that shouldn't be broadcasted, which is basically what we're doing, broadcasting information, right?
And related to that last line that you mentioned, so those are the dangers, but what is your role as a professional like yourself, Anna, in controlling the spread of misinformation and in monitoring the use of social media? So
the computer science community, or the machine learning community, if you want to call it, has been doing a great effort at trying to detect, say, deepfakes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we've all seen like those faces changing, right?
Yeah.
So at controlling like deepfakes or controlling people that is just spreading things that are not true,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have seen it on Twitter, because Twitter is also, you know, like a boiling place for like, you know, drama and
Totally.
yeah. So Twitter started recently putting banners saying like, hey, this may not be exactly
Mm-hmm.
accurate, you know, like or this needs fact checking,
Mm-hmm.
or this has been fact checked and it's factually incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's a very fine line between this monitoring and censorship, you cannot just simply delete it, right? You cannot just delete the tweet, but you can say like, hey, like, take it with a pinch of salt, because maybe this is not
So you
correct.
give them the option in a
So
way.
you should, like in some things. So when the thing is not harmful or it doesn't go against the policies of the platform, right? If it goes against the policies of the platform or maybe the country or something, then you have to remove it.
Yeah.
And like we are all working, having artificial intelligence models that are able to detect such kind of content, so that it's filtered before any user can see it. But when it's something that it's not illegal, then you can just simply say like out. But you can try to have it seen by less people, or have like this, hey, watch out. You know, they may be trying to manipulate you with this. So that's also important.
Yeah. So you have been living here in Singapore for many years, and so you in a way you understand the Asian culture, and so that's a question I wanted to ask you. What is the social media usage pattern here in Singapore, or maybe in Asia, and its comparison with Europe?
Yeah, so it's quite different in the sense that in Asia, so I'm gonna talk about another product of ByteDance, which is Douyin. So TikTok was born after Douyin's hit in China,
which I think
right?
many people may not know. And
Yeah,
may not be aware
exactly.
Of that.
So Douyin was the social media in China, and then when it worked so well, then they said, okay, let's export this to the rest of the world. Let's go with TikTok, and let's start from what users are used to in the rest of the world, right? Now, if you look at Douyin, for instance, there's a platform for everything. So you have the content creators for what my friends tell me, my Chinese colleagues, there's very good creators in the platform, so it's a very strong source of entertainment. So I feel like many people around here, they use also social media for entertainment, right, to follow creators. And the thing is, creators afterwards, they will have products. So there's also a marketplace associated to each of the creators, right? I mean, not to each, but many of them.
Yeah.
So if you think from a perspective of Europe, like in Spain, you have the influencers or people like the content creators. They will be doing things through third parties to connect with their fans, right? So you will have this influencer that will sell, I don't know, notebooks or
perfume,
clothes or perfumes or something like that, so that they can connect with the fans. Instead, in Asia, like China and so on, it's more the creator directly connects with the fans. So the platform already offers you a marketplace and offers you a Patreon kind of feeling, because the case is like I follow comic writers and stuff like that I have to be on the Patreon so that I can contribute to the work. It's not like I'm doing it through the platforms I follow them through.
Yeah.
Instead, on a platform like Douyin, or like even on TikTok now, it's also happening. You can directly give like a thumbs up to the content creator, and this thumbs up has a monetary value. So the user has a wallet, and then the user chooses how to sponsor the content creator directly, right? So it's coming also through like becoming a business, so that the content creator can monetize and can live out of it. So it's democratizing, if you want to say it, the entertainment in a way, because now I don't have to wait for Netflix to sponsor this content creator. I can directly go to their profile and give them a kudos that is equivalent to I don't know how much money. So that's a very different paradigm, right? And maybe for us, from like a European perspective, it would be very weird to send money through kudos or hearts on the platform. But here, this has been going on for like quite a long time.
Wow, that's so interesting.
That's like when I first learned it, I was like, wow, like this is so great, because for the content creator, they don't have to, you know, fight for all the kind of partnerships. They just have it on the app.
Wow. And I'm still very surprised about that information. It's so interesting. And maybe that will be part of the future of social media, but how do you envision the future of social media in Asia in general? And will we be, all of us, so hooked to the screen as we are nowadays?
Oh yeah, I mean the screen will change. The screen will change, right? It will be something different. If we had been thinking 10 years ago, well, 10 years ago we already had smartphones, did we? Yeah, but like it has changed. It has changed a lot, right? So technology changes, evolves. How we use the technology also evolves a lot. So probably 10 years ago, we wouldn't have imagined 80-year-olds using WhatsApp, right? Exactly. Or like SMSing.
Yeah.
That would have been just quite absurd. And yet it's happening. So it's just, the platforms will be in a way like a little bit generational. So I don't think 13-year-olds or 15-year-olds join Facebook anymore. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know, but
we should ask them.
Yeah, but instead, I'm still, you know, on that stage.
Yeah.
So it will change. Different generations will be using different platforms. New players will come, and they will show us like new things that we didn't think we needed, but suddenly we do. And probably it will evolve more from the phones to, like, I don't know, virtual spaces or virtual realities, or like, I don't know what technology we'll have in 5 years. Like, what is it to say 10? I think definitely the trends that we have in China regarding having like content creators shopping, etc. on the social network, on the social media is gonna also appear in Spain or in Europe. But I cannot tell you, right? I cannot know how it will change, because so many all the technology changes so quickly, and new technologies just.
Well, in the end, I think we will experience it first hand or second hand through
the
next generations. We will just
absolutely
watch it on the distance. Thank you so much, Ana, for giving us an overview of the social media section and also a vision through the future. So thank you very much. Thank you.